Welcome everybody to today's webinar. We'll go ahead and get started. My name is Eric Cavazos. I'm a product manager at Codenvy, and today I really want to show the power of Codenvy and how it can improve your development process from not only a individual but also a group standpoint. To get started, if you're unfamiliar with us too much there, we're a startup. We're based out of San Francisco. We have offices in San Francisco, and in Ukraine and Luxembourg, and these and we've had about 100,000 people sign up so far as developers, and we have about 9 million in venture capital from the Series A, and so we've been at it for a little bit over a year now, and pretty soon a lot of changes are coming along. We'll be kind of repositioning some things, and at the end of first quarter of 2014, here what we'll have a new product launch, and that product will be the new IDE. We're calling it IDE 3, and it'll have a lot more of a different look. Some of the UI components will change, and the availability of options and features is going to increase. We also are releasing several APIs, which will allow you to increase your development customizations, and we're announcing a partnership with Docker IO to be able to customize environments even more extensively than you already can. But to go ahead and get started with the presentation today, some things I was going to cover, as I already mentioned. One is the development process, which this includes factories, right? A lot of people probably have seen factories on the website and seen them around, or maybe even heard of them, but not quite sure yet exactly what they are. Codenvy for individual development and some of the benefits there, and then Codenvy for group development and some of the use cases for Codenvy. So moving along here on the what is a factory, explaining factories here. To simply put it, a factory is an instantly booting on-demand SaaS development environment that is created from the cloud. And so we create it instantly in the cloud, which prevents the setup either on desktop and on, say, an AWS server, or another instance where you have to go in SSH and do a lot of customizations. Now, very similar to some other companies, and having a virtual VM, we're not like that. We create the environment and you can customize it, and this is where more features are coming and more customizations in the future of the Docker integration. To give you an example of just a factory, let's go ahead and slide over to the website here. And I have it already open. And so on our homepage, you'll see some factories here. So if I want to launch a Spring application, I can click here. And a lot of misconceptions have happened presently, with people thinking that this is just an IDE, and that okay, it's launching an IDE with a sample Spring, but actually it's configuring a whole environment too. And in this environment, I can build, run, test, and deploy. So here's my sample Spring app. I can run it if I want to. I'm currently not logged in. So you see a login and create free account. So we wanted to, reduce all the sign up process and get people to start as quickly as possible. So that's why we allow you to use it without even signing up, and quickly launch any factories. So here's an example of a factory. My environment's ready to go. There's a lot of options for Git, and then PaaS deployment options too. So that's exactly what a factory is, and the best way to see it, I think, is to check it out for yourself. I hope that can give you a little bit better insight, though, into actually what's happening on the back end. One of my favorite explanations is this slide here, which is because the factories are really Codenvy special sauce for the old way versus the Codenvy way, in increasing your development efficiency. So it used to be you set up a desktop editor, you download a build system, you download a runtime, ISV, and set up everything just to get a sample app running. Now with Codenvy, all this is already set up, pre-configured, and you have a factory. you can make your own factories too very easily. And I'll go back and show you how to do that here. So I'll have to log in for this. That is one thing. To create a factory, you need it, and share it, you have to be logged in. So I'll log in real fast. And so it'll take me back to that same factory. So open up my that factory or that project on my workspace. So it's going to ask me if I want to copy it there first. So let's see here. Load the project. And you can see up here it says copy to my workspace. I'm going to go ahead and copy it to my workspace. I would choose which workspace. And you saw several workspaces there in that list, and what those were workspaces that have been shared with me with other colleagues, and I'll explain more about that once we get to the group element. So under the sample spring here, I'll have this, and I can go share factory URL, and it gives me several sharing options to the factory. We really thought about how people can share this, how it can benefit them to limit and have advanced options. So if I only wanted it available on certain days, if I wanted certain attributes with it, I can do that. I'll do the vertical, and we'll keep it white. And I can embed it on GitHub pages. I can link the factory directory directly, and I can also have it for websites, which will show this icon here if I take this script. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to paste that in chat to everybody, so you can have a chance to click on it. Let's see here. So here's a sample Spring factory, and if you want to click on that, you can. And it'll launch you into this full environment. Now, one of the things about factories too is you're not launching into the same project I am in. You're actually creating in it. Each factory clones its own independent project environment. This allows each person to have their own environment without impacting the other one. And this gets into some of the group benefits and some of the individual benefits too. So going back to the presentation here. On the individual benefits, the environment cloning, which I just showed, some of these features are very powerful in the fact that I no longer have to sit there and worry about the hours I'm going to spend setting it up. And on LinkedIn, there was a study done, and on average, a developer spends about 13 hours a week administering their desktop. With Codenvy, we've cut this time down to seconds because of the factory concept. If you need an environment and you put it together, you put the project in there, and you make other changes, and you want to send to somebody else, you can do that. Or if you need another environment just for the purpose of testing, or another environment because you want to alter the project. Now you can have several versions of a project very easy here, just in Codenvy. And because we're Git friendly, you can push each one to a different branch or different repositories. So your code management possibilities have expanded because of the automation we brought to the environment, to the developer environment. Now, another benefit is the portability of your IDE. In most cases, everybody has their laptop. They're using the desktop IDE. Their environment's configured to their laptop, and it's critical that they have that specific laptop and that nothing ever goes wrong with it. Because it's critical for them to have their environment. With a cloud IDE and a cloud development environment, you don't have to really worry about that anymore because you can use any computer. We've been really popular in Chromebooks because we're an option there. Or on a Chromebook, you might not be able to get things set up properly. So we're a cloud option there. So that's been another popular use case for us. And your environment's always available in the cloud. Now, another benefit that has come up actually new recently is our community of developers, which have started interacting more and more, and we are working to expand our community. And as part of the community, we ask you to give feedback and help other developers out, and visit our Google forums, Codenvy forums there. And we'll continuously expand these, and we'll post announcements, we'll post new tutorials and new features of Codenvy also there. So I recommend going and checking that out. Another thing that has me really excited is the affiliate program, which we actually haven't officially released to everybody yet, but we are taking applications, and you can find it on our website. Um, so on our website, to explain the affiliate a little bit more, um, what you can do is you can sign up for it, and you'll receive an affiliate code, and with this affiliate code you can add it to each of your factories. And when you add this affiliate code to each of your factories, we track everything based off this affiliate code. And some of the advantages of being in this program is if you have a viral factory template of a project, and you have several number of clicks, because we track that, builds, runs, and signups, and people have signed up with Codenvy over this, we actually pay you based on the sign up. So if I had 10 people sign up and one of these people signed up and signed an enterprise deal of a certain value, we end up paying you, the affiliate, a certain amount of money. Now, the more details can be found with that underneath our website, and I'll actually show you where. 1 second here. So if you look, we have the developer public cloud, and we kind of talk about some of that there. And the affiliate program can be very powerful for you. With the affiliate, you can continue on um, with your publications and have a website and everything, and we'll route all that traffic, and we'll actually keep track of all that and send you reports based on that. And launching pretty soon is also our analytics system, where you'll be able to log in and get those analytics yourself, um, which will be a nice feature. So that's targeted for the end of Q1 also. Um, Moving on is the group benefits, and this is where I think Codenvy really shows its power, which is some of the things we've already talked about, which is sharing environments through factories. But I think what's missing here too is what I haven't said yet is how powerful that is on the front end to the back end, and from an overall group standpoint of having several projects within a company, or even multiple Git repositories that have each commit that can be linked to a specific environment or a specific setup. So automating the developer environment, we've really contributed to the process of someone developing, making changes to the code or even the environment, and then packaging that as a factory. And then each time they commit it, we have that package there. So if I'm a manager of developers, a VP engineering, or if I'm just a uh, lead engineer and one of my contributors has done something, and then I can click on that and see, have that environment, have the changes instantly there. And then say 6 months down the line, I want to go back to a certain project, and I no longer have that environment. I don't have to rebuild it. I can click and that environment's instantly ready to go. I can see what was done there, and I can start coding if I wanted to do an update. Now, to expand upon this, which I've mentioned a little bit, is the efficiency of these contributors, the QA, the power developers. So in most groups, you have several contributors and several kind of medium average contributors, and then you have essentially your power developers. Now, what we've come to find with a lot of this is your power developers are going to be always working on that project, and so we've done several different updates like that. So here's a great chart that we've established, and some of the things that it really shows here is the efficiency that's gained by having Codenvy, because it covers most of those contributors, which typically can make up almost 80% in your group for a project. And then where the power developers come in and they have the environment constantly ready because they're more efficient with the environment, is the last 5% there. So your contributors and average, and this includes anybody from your QA, docs, support, to managers that just need to kind of get in there and check out the code, right? They're making a ticket and they need to just get in there and test something, maybe do a breakpoint and find out what's causing the error in the project. So this allows a lot of time saved by having this group development environments just ready to go with each commit, and not having to rebuild any environments 6 months down the line when a project is, you moved on to the next project. And one of the last things here, which we don't talk about much, but Codenvy does an excellent job of, is collaboration. you have the ability to enable this in your project very quickly. So if I sit here and let me launch a project right fast. If I go to my workspace, and as this project loads, I'll show you something right fast. So sample spring was a project we left on project, and then enable collaboration mode. So when I do this, I can easily share and invite others, and invite developers, invite GitHub collaborators, and that will reach into my accounts that I have linked to Codenvy, and I can instantly just see a list of people to invite. Um, so collaboration is a big thing too that enables better for training, um, for working on projects together. If you just want to kind of hack together, hackathons. So there's a lot of use cases, and that kind of gets me into the use case slide, which I had listed last year, which covers essentially groups and individuals. So the commuter, the guy that wants to code when on a Chromebook or on vacation, uh, he doesn't have to worry about having his exact laptop and with them, and the grip can loosen up on that. The new code base introduction. So if you are interviewing somebody, it's a big use case, or interns on a project, or pulling a new person in the project, they can start a lot quicker. So another use case for this is the primary workbench. If they're going to use this as your primary workbench, if you have multiple computers, or even offshore developers who might not have quite the same computing power locally on their own computer, and a lot of these computers are really restricted for what they can do and accesses. So with the ability for this, with Codenvy, you can customize that. The another one I mentioned already was the hackathons. So with the hackathons and the collaboration and then setting up in development environments, you don't have to waste time in a hackathon to get things set up. You can quickly launch a factory, share that factory, and then you're ready to go. And then another thing we kind of talked about was the separation of duties with the groups and the contributors, and having it more efficient for contributors, because they take up most of the team, and then your power developers versus your power developers. And then on a lot of this, you can provide even increased security. Big cloud has been a big worry, but with cloud, a lot of the things are decoupled from the computer itself. So, for offshore developers, for example, you don't have to worry about them downloading the code and then selling your software if you have a private project that has a lot of intellectual property with it. So just to kind of give you an overview of where we're at now, we're right over 100,000 users. We've been growing pretty rapidly in the past year, and about the top 50 users, have about 12 hours a day within our project. And so I've had a couple questions come in already, and so I'll go ahead and answer those. Let me know if you have any other questions, and I'll attend to those too. One of the questions came in was deployment option. What are the deployment options for Codenvy? Can I use a current AWS server? Yes, you can. And there's a few ways you can do this. You can go through our menus, which I pulled down earlier, but we have several paths to deploy to here. And then if you want to do your own, you can do it. You can actually push it back to Git and then pull the way you normally would in your normal process flow. Had another one come in, setting up a specific environment for mobile. Yes, we do. We don't support iOS environments, but we do have an Android template. And actually, I had this as a mark that I didn't mention earlier. I'm sure we can find something. So if I go back to the Codenvy website here, Android should be, Android's listed here. So I can click on this, and this gives me Android environment ready to go. Now, I'm clicking on that. You're watching that open, and let's see if I can find setting up Android environment. And I just want to show you maybe a difference here. Yeah, I've looked at. So here's a WikiHow on setting up Android environment of 9 different steps here. At the one of 2 initial steps, and so you have 9 steps here to set this up, and you'll be lucky if you probably get through it in an hour. And with Codenvy, I clicked on Android, and my environment with a sample app is ready to go, and I can just start building from here. And we use mini mode to run the emulator here, so I can actually run the application and continue with my sample app here. To get back, let's see. If you have any questions, type in the chat here, and I'll get them answered. You can also email support if you have a technical question. That's support@codenvy.com. You can email me at ecavazos@codenvy.com. This webinar is recorded, and it will be posted under our resource section of our website. And I'll give it a minute for any other questions. All right, well, that's it for today. I appreciate you attending the webinar, and please send us your feedback and let us know how we can, help you with your development. Happy coding.